Hello and welcome. Today we've got Nick Alvear and Lewis Herms, and we're going to be discussing all the latest updates with Mike Lindell, etc., with, Mr. T coming back. And I say Mr. T because, of course, we have to be careful. We want to put this on YouTube and we have to behave ourselves. Now, just before we begin, you can subscribe to my Telegram channel and to nicholasveniamin.com for my free email updates. And I'll also be leaving Nick's and Lewis's links below in the description as well, so that you can have a look at. Now, I will be leaving the link below in the description for the full interview if you're watching this for the first time on YouTube. But if we're behaving ourselves, I'll leave the full video like I have been with the others. You see, we don't want to take any risks, but we want the biggest reach we can so that we can raise that consciousness. Now, that's why. Now, thank you for joining me, Nick and Lewis. How are you and where do we begin?
Doing fantastic, brother. How are you? Doing good?
I'm really good. I've just been really busy and researching and keeping, that love frequency and with all the research and just keeping myself sane, really. A bit like the viewers, Lewis, how are you?
You have a special glow to you too today.
You really do.
Mm-hmm. Yes. must be the frequency.
I don't know.
It's the divine feminine. It's channeling through you. That's actually the next movie I'm working on right now.
Oh, really?
Oh, in fact, I just posted your intro music on my platforms.
Nice. Yeah, I put it on goodlion.tv. It's like the intro is almost a music video as well, because I make music as well. And it's 432 hertz. So if you're ever feeling stressed, put some of that on. Soothes.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So guys, so Nick, tell us a bit about this film you're doing.
Well, when we went on the Looking Glass tour, we came on this show to promote it. And this is finally, I finished Purveywood 9, Volume 1 and 2. So now it's like, I can finally use the footage that we got when we went and interviewed Jaco, Dr. Jerry Rivera, and Rob Potter, and a few others. Now it's becoming the Looking Glass docuseries. So the first episode is The Divine Feminine, which will cover how masculinity has been put on a pedestal and the divine feminine has been suppressed as a means to control us as a population. Not just to control men or women, it's to control everybody. It's to keep us out of our divine state to where we're not able to manifest or even have the intuition, which a lot of us have been using to discover a lot of truths in this world that have been falsified.
Very good, Nick. Very good at making sure that those words are clean as possible for YouTube. But, fantastic work. Lewis, how about you? What's the update with you and what are you working on and what's your thing?
Well, I've been busy. I cut 4 films in the last month. As you know, Watch the Water blew up. There was another one with the Letter 17 PSYOP that got me banned from YouTube. And then a little 5-minute video really went wild, which is cool. It was the I call it The Red Pill Will Inherit the Earth, and it talks about how the word meek has been intentionally interpreted to make us feel like that was a bad, weak word. That's really cool. And then I just finished a video about Mike Lindell, and I really think that this will get Mr. T repositioned where he needs to. He did an 82-page document. Some people would call it an L suit, and against 2 major software companies that might have manipulated something possibly. And it absolutely, I broke it down to 1 hour of entertainment, and it's an 82-page document. It took me, I don't know, about 38 hours to create it. And it completely exposes what's going on. I'm so excited about it. And My Pillow, I can tell you, everybody that's watching it is coming back onto my format and saying, I just bought My Pillow because of this.
Oh, that's massive.
Which is cool because he is, he's an American hero, but we know what's going on.
Are you allowed to talk about some of the smoking guns there
all of them.
All of them are smoking guns, huh? This is fantastic.
All of them. There was like 162 points or something like that. And I broke it down to like a few massive ones.
Perfect.
And I just got chills because these are the deepest evidence that you could possibly imagine on what happened.
Yeah. Yeah. We're about to do that with the mask guy, Tony. Mask guy Tony.
Oh,
We're
that
about
guy.
we're about to do the same thing. There's
You
a
mean
team-
the short Tony guy, one with the glasses that worked in the health thing?
Yeah, kind of trolly. Did a little thing in the 80s with the HIV. Did a little thing.
Kind
Yeah.
of has a Napoleon complex, that guy.
Yeah, that guy who's mother, maybe his mother Teresa. Or
I like it. I like it. You're good. See, we can have fun. Guys, we can have so much fun trying to work the words around and trying to avoid the censorship. See, we can have fun with it as well. See, I love it, guys. Continue.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I just got an ouchie.
You did? Oh, an ouchie.
I like
we have
that.
an
I like
ouchie.
that.
Ouchies, man. Ouchies. I'm not about ouchies.
No, we don't like ouchies.
Boom. Yeah, we're doing the same thing that you did, digging through. You went through a lot of material. Now there's so much material on emails with this Tony, which
it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. You can see how like mainstream is spinning and spinning. This is a sign that I believe that the glorious white hats are in control.
They are spinning, but you know what's interesting? I hate to say it because they really pissed me off during the election, is Fox News is coming around.
Oh, dude.
They just had something, can you believe it, on the Rockefeller papers.
Okay. And what was it, what was it implying? What was it about the Rockefeller papers?
Exposing how they do business with the bee pharma, right?
Yeah.
And how everything is planned.
Mm-hmm.
Which is very interesting. We've all known it for a long time. We've written about it. We've done videos. We've gotten attacked. I mean, all of us have lost. I've lost all my Twitter, all my Facebook, all my social media, all my YouTube. I have trouble getting things even up on BitChute and Rumble. And now it's all coming back slowly. I'm starting to rebuild all those formats, right? I know Nick Alvear was in the middle of the big Patriot crush where they just, and I think I was on the phone with you and you're like, I'm probably going to be next. And there it goes. Remember that?
It was at 2 p.m. I was on the phone. Yeah. And I got the email and I was like, wait a second. It was such a bummer. 60,000 subscribers in 6 months, 6 to 7 months. People were shocked that I was even on there. They'd go on there and be like, how are you? Like from the get-go, they're like, how are you still on here? This guy must be an insider. He must be from Hollywood. He must be a white hat because they haven't deleted him. And then they did with everyone else on that same day, that October 15th, 10/15, 2020. They got rid of Edge of Wonder, Matthew Buddha, Good Lion Films, and a ton of others. I think Santa. Yeah.
It's interesting is a lot of people, there's some, I call them paper patriots. They're like fake patriots. So they're bashing Michael Jaco. How have you been on YouTube so long? And I go, you guys don't even know. I was watching Jaco when he had 250,000 people on YouTube and they took his YouTube channel down. And then he did another one. They took it down and another one. They took it down and another one. So to think that these guys or me or you are just cruising on there, it's crazy. We have to work so hard to stay on that platform. It's amazing. I think Scott McKay's on his 14th channel or something like that.
But you know what, guys? I always say, when we have to, think about what we say, and we're under pressure, I see it as a challenge. I see it as it's strengthening our personalities, our characters, and it's a muscle that needs to be used, and that's how we become stronger characters.
Well, Veniamin, your success has really helped me in that because I was letting my ego or my arrogance get in the way. I'm like, they're not going to tell me what not to say, right? And then I would just get banned over and over on all platforms, or I would get shadow banned. But it was because my ego wouldn't let me reverse the words and have fun with it. I'm like, screw them. I'm going to do it the way I'm going to do it. Well, sometimes we have to step back and fight the war the right way because it's better to be on the platforms than not on there at all.
Yep. Absolutely.
And this is a thing. I mean, some people might say But why do they want to be on YouTube if they're so treasonous? Well, the reason why is because it has such a big outreach, YouTube, so universal, that we want to play their weapons against them and reach to the masses. And we have to be clever and play their game.
Yeah, I know. I'm on my 4th channel, and yeah, I just appealed one of their strikes because they thought I was giving medical information, and I appealed. I said I did not at all. Maybe you should talk to my lawyer. And then it was a success, and they took away the strike. And now when I'm speaking, when I'm live, I make sure to say, hey, I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving advice at all. Don't believe anything I'm saying. Now let's talk.
I like it.
And I think that helps. I think it'll help in the future. But can you believe this is the way we're living now? I mean, I can believe it, and I also can't because it's so incredible. It's shocking.
It's
what we're
so bad.
With jabs left and right and masks while you're in a pool, that kind of thing.
You know what it is, though? People think it's communism. It's not. It's a corpocracy. And the reason why they use a corpocracy is because they can implement communism to a higher level than you could if they actually installed it from the government. Because if the government did all these communist acts, what would happen is people would fight back, and they would say, "Oh, wow, we can't have this. We recognize that we're going to protest." But what they do is they do it under the guise of corpocracy because they have, quote unquote, a private business where they can make private decisions. It's all collusion, though, right? So when you go into business and they mandate you must wear a mask, or you go into a business and they mandate that you must, if you want to work there, you have to get the jab, or go onto a plane, you have to do this type of stuff. It's a corpocracy. So it's top down. It's coming from the original 13 families down to the Soroses of the world and that little Napoleon guy that we talked to, and then through the government and so on and so forth. But if you look at all the mandates, most of the mandates are actually coming from private businesses or corporations.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Guys,
That's scary.
Guys, I want to speak about, AMC stocks, because it's very, very negative with what we're hearing on the mainstream media. And we know it's very positive, and they don't want us to know that. So do you guys know much about AMC?
No,
I know that they're supposedly the white hats are using that as, let's say, communications in order to show that they're really working on stuff. Is that where you're going with this?
I just know that it's supposed to apparently go to 50,000 to 100,000. And it's at around $40-$50 now. So to the viewers, if you can, buy 1 or 2 shares or as many as you can get, so it would be a good investment. There's a person that wants to come on from Fox Business on my show and discuss this, because all the mainstream media is being completely negative about this. So we want to know really what's happening. But yeah.
Well, do continue. We'll interview you. This is interesting.
Yeah. It's like a GameStop situation.
Yes.
Where they And why AMC? Because GameStop kind of makes it like, hey, the game has stopped. We got you. It was almost like a calm.
AMC is the movie, though.
Exactly. So what does AMC stand for? American Motion Cinema or something?
I'll be honest with you, that I don't know. I just know it as AMC, and everybody refers it to AMC. How embarrassing.
It's all a movie. It's all a movie. Maybe that's another communication there.
I think that's what it is right there.
But it is something to do with GameStop. They're connected or something like that.
Interesting.
Well, that's because they were on subreddit is where they started to play with the GameStop stocks in order to bust the short sellers that have been manipulated, or the naked short sellers that have been manipulating our markets forever. So the Reddit showed how you can go ahead and purchase this stock in order to hit them back in the face, because they have to come up with the money, so they can lose billions of dollars because they have to fund it. And they do it on, I don't want to get too technical, but they do it on a differential. So they could put 10% in, but buy 100% of a stock, right? So what happens is when they do it on a short, they're manipulating the stock, and they'd have no problem crushing the stock. So they did subreddit. They got together and did the opposite, and which really hurt these bastards that try to manipulate the stock from the backside. That's kind of a summary of it, if I'm correct. I'm not a financial advisor. Thank you.
So,
Yeah,
guys, let's talk about Mr. T. Right now, when he gets back, what do you guys think that is? What do you think the first thing he's going to do, or the first 5 things he's going to do? I don't know, but what do you think he's going to do?
I love Trump. I really do. I became the biggest, not the biggest. There's plenty of huge Trump supporters out there, but I really, really believed in Trump. And it's hard for me to answer this kind of question because I'm still on the fence. I'm one of those guys, and this is not popular at all. And I'm sorry if I offended.
Here we go.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to Corey from the Phoenix Enigma yesterday, and he was telling me his perception on Trump, and I thought this is exactly how I feel, but we have a different reasoning. And I just, even when I saw him speak at North Carolina's GOP event, I felt like he was a little empty again, a little empty. His voice was weird. He didn't mention the Capitol, the whole Patriots in jail. When he talked about Wuhan, he talked about the origins. And he didn't go into the emails. Now that could be a thing. It's probably he's getting ready to come back, so he doesn't want to be too controversial. But for me, I don't know.
But hang on a second. Maybe he's playing sometimes by not saying anything. Remember when he's talking, we have to look at it from the sleeper's point of view, not from our point of view, because we're already awake. He's trying to wake up the sleepers. Art of war. That's right, Lewis.
Well, what about him pushing the jab? He spent a lot of time. I know it's part of the art of war, but I don't know. I have so many questions.
Well, you know what? I spoke to Mel K earlier, and she was saying that the cabal wanted to keep us locked in until 2023. So maybe there were a few options, and Mr. T has said in the past that there will be decisions that he would have to make that are going to be very difficult, and maybe pushing the jab at the very least is the better option than the other option to end this situation that we've got, to take power away from the other side, and at the very, very least, there may have to be some collateral damage. But again, this is a war, and he has to pick the lesser evil option.
Yeah,
so that's what I think.
To answer that question, though, outside of that theory, I can come out of that theory. Is that I think once he's in office, it's going to be because we find out it's going to be a domino effect. Right now, it's so hot in Arizona that we're going to find out soon. I think it's the 15th is when it's done, when the audit's done.
Which is his birthday.
14th,
which is his birthday, right?
Oh my gosh!
And it's also Flag Day.
Oh my gosh! Please, because then a domino effect would happen. And he'd come in, and I bet you immediately he better let out everyone. Not everyone, because some people did beat up cops, and that's not cool. But he would definitely pardon a lot of people who are still in jail for that.
Sorry, Nick. I was just going to say that I hope that there's going to be no need for optics after he returns. No room, no need for optics. Just say it as it is. He's going to be in charge of the Senate, the House, the White House. There's no obstacles. There's no more cabal, obstacles. He wants to pass this, but they don't want to pass that. They want to pass X, and he doesn't want to pass it. So they're always battling with each other in the first 4 years, despite that we thought Mr. T done an amazing job. Well, imagine how much he could have done if they were all working together as a team. Okay, so we're going to see a superpower president.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah, it could be the dawn of a whole new world. The dawn.
The dawn, I like that.
That was good.
Yeah.
It's going to be a whole nother level. I mean, the reality, if anybody can pay attention on, say, Telegram, they're seeing real disclosures, not fake disclosures. And I do get frustrated sometimes if people are my Telegram, is I think there's some parrot patriots out there. So one person says something, and then 50 others will grab it as if it's their new information.
Yeah.
And it's not, you know what I mean? And the problem is a lot of times they grab stuff that's wrong that I think is intentionally put out there to make us look foolish.
Yes.
So
Happens.
here's an example, and I still don't know if it's true or not, but Trump supposedly put out a letter on the Save America letterhead that said when he's back in office,
No, White House. When he's back in
I'm
the
sorry,
White
yeah,
House.
back in at the White House, that he will not have dinners with Zuckerberg and so on and so forth. So I saw it right away. I'm like, I think that's premature. I don't think this is time for him doing that. So what do? I went to his website, and he had 2 other Saved America letters that were posted that day, and it wasn't on there. So I said, I'm not going to touch it. People ask me, they said, what do you think about it? I go, I don't know. Could be fake, but I'm not going to touch it because I went to verify it. And I still don't know if it's true or not. I think if he did it, it would have been very premature based on things that are going on.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think you're right, Lewis. And I have to say this. I'm guilty for uploading that picture, the screenshot.
Oh.
You know,
we've all done stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Everyone of all sizes of subscribers and followers, they all have done it. Yeah. I once called Charlie Ward out on that, and he cussed me out on Twitter. He did. He was so angry.
But we're just, because I guess people need to understand what you do, Nick, is it's more important to get the right information out than sell hopium, right?
Yes.
Because I think reality is everybody just wants the real stuff. And that picture, the reason why I found it, because it hit my chat. It didn't hit my main channel because I didn't post it. It hit my chat. And I was just about ready to, if I'm going to be honest, put it on my main channel. Yeah. And I said, before I do that, or before I comment on it, because people are asking me questions, I said, let me just do some research. It took me 2 minutes. And I go, yeah, can't do it. Could be fake. So it's tough though, because
I think
put her hand on a book, and it turned out to be like a zipper Bible, and I said it was a book, and so on and so forth. Now, the good news is I ended up doing sorry, my dogs are barking. I ended up doing research after somebody called me out on it, and I found out that a lot of Satanists, crazies, actually use that type of zipper Bible to put their own little Satan Bible inside of it, right? And they just use it as a cover. So I kind of felt a little redemption there. Don't know if that's what she did, but I can speculate. But we've all been down that road because we're trying to get the information out as fast as possible. I just want everybody just to be, at this time, we should be a little bit more careful, because I think there is a huge multi-million-dollar operation to make us look bad.
Do you know what? I was just going to say that. They're trying to put information out there to make us look stupid. So to keep the asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Discredit us. Yeah.
Discredit us. Yeah.
They put it out. They stand back for a week, 2 weeks, watch it go viral. And then they put out something proving that it was fake. Yeah. And then everybody goes, oh, wow, you can't. So if you can't believe that, then you can't believe anything these guys say.
Yeah, exactly. Those are the kind of rabbit holes I'm all about and making movies about. We're at such a unique time. Think about it, where we're at. This kind of control over a society has happened over and over and over. But now we've got the internet, and they're like, because this information is spreading. We're awakening. Look at how refined we're getting. We want to make sure everything we're seeing is true. So we're actually checking, at least, most of us, because we're experiencing it. We're getting played, and then we're like, hey. So as crazy as this all is, look at our evolution already.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
Well, I like to tell people, if 10% of what we're learning is true, that's astronomical. I mean, astronomical, the way we've been manipulated through, and deuterium. Who knew about deuterium until just a month ago, right?
Yeah.
I should put Veniamin on. He's got that like deuterium. So again, you didn't watch my videos, Nicholas. I don't know what I'm going to do with you.
Oh, he's so busy.
He's got hundreds of thousands of followers. I mean, what do you expect?
It's hard to do it.
I try to watch as many videos as possible. I try to. It's hard.
It's so hard.
It
Or
is.
I'm a
Oh,
content creator.
believe me, you're right. It is.
Yeah.
It is. You
I
have
used to
prove-
watch a bunch, and then once I started making a bunch, it's
That's
hard to
exactly
watch
it.
a bunch. Yeah.
It's rough. It's rough.
But the things that make it through. Oh, sorry. Keep going,
No,
Lewis.
well, what I was going to say is, so it's interesting because there is a lot happening, and we need to figure it out. And that's why Nick and I are working on a movie called The True Awakening. It's actually called the End of the Beginning, because it's all about this stuff.
Fabulous
and
script, by the way. You wrote a brilliant script.
Oh, you're such a sweetheart. Thank you.
Yeah, it's good.
But it's going to be an awesome movie, and listen to what's going to feature in it. And these are actual live interviews that we're doing.
Mhm.
We've already done most of them. Michael Jaco, live interview. Rob Potter. These are face-to-face interviews. We'll probably have, we know we'll have Dr. Jerry in it. In fact, I have a follow-up with him on Friday, which is amazing. So there's a lot. And I'm doing a special interview after I get off with you guys, of somebody that's huge in this Patriot industry, probably number one, people would think. I'm not going to say it right now. He's going to be featured in here, and he's given me inside stuff to kind of help with the script, help the script mature. So this is going to be amazing what we're putting out. But the reason why I'm saying this, again, through our studies, if a small percentage of this is true, means we've been massively manipulated. And the awakening really, in Nick and my opinion, through writing this, isn't really coming from all the stuff we're going to discover. It's coming within inside of us. How we are going to awaken within inside in order to have better discernment, and maybe activate our pineal gland and our pituitary gland in a better way, and start working from our right brain more than our left brain.
Ooh,
He's frozen again.
yeah. He's so hot that he froze.
Very fun. So just in closing this statement. So what I did is, you hear a lot now about so-called, how do we say it, things going inside of the White House. Somebody may call them like trials or crazy stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And people outside the White House taking pictures and saying there's film crews there and all this stuff. So what I did is, this morning I remote viewed it, and I know I got your attention, Nick. I remote viewed it, which was cool, because I went in and I didn't see, I'm going to be honest all the time, I didn't see all the camera crews, but I did see like an annex to the White House that was filled with chairs and all these boards, like logistics, like they're talking about this logistics. And then I went down a hallway and into another room, or actually went into the right side of the White House. And then what I saw was very interesting. I saw stacks and stacks of what looked like maybe legal briefs with just paper tags under them that said like A to D and E to G, and along this two long tables, right? Actually, like a bunch of 6-foot tables lined up. So 2 long sections, I should say, just stacks and stacks. And they had the letter. So I don't know if anything's there. And then what happened is I tried to move on, and I was getting a huge buzzing going in my ear and and I just couldn't activate anything else. And then I was like almost forced out. And this happened once before in I guess a more secure situation. So I asked about this with people like Jaco and other people that are in the know on remote viewing, because I'm an amateur on it. And they said, yeah, there is, in secure location and stuff, they actually have like counter, I guess, remote viewers pushing back on us, which is very crazy. So I actually got like burning sensation going on. I was like, whoa, I got to get out of here. So for what it's worth, I'm an amateur. I don't claim this is true, or I just say what I saw, but I did see a bunch of what looked like freaking legal briefs or something just stacked up, like all along one wall and then along this other wall to the right side.
In the White House.
It was interesting. It was just interesting. So whatever, something's going on.
And this is in the White House. You saw this?
That was on the right side of the White House. The other room I was talking about was like an annex to the White House. Nothing exciting in there. By the way, there's another room behind that. I should have said there's a guard in front of it. and it had a pool table, whatever that means.
Yeah,
So,
I've actually thought about this in regard to the counter of a remote viewing penetration. And I've tried to debunk my crazy attachment to the theory that Trump might be dead, or Dr. T might, or whatever, Mr. T might be dead. The lady who was remote viewing that could have been encountering a force that was trying to tell her that that is what is the situation, because the truth is not ready to come out. At least I don't know, because she has been tricked before. Remote viewers have been tricked.
Guys, I have a really good idea.
Mhm.
I think that Lewis, because you can remote view, I reckon you do your remote viewing privately. Write down everything you saw. Do not tell Michael Jaco, but tell him to go and do the same remote viewing that you did, and let him come back to you and disclose to you what he saw, and then you see if it matches up.
he'll do that, I think, because we were just talking not too recently about possibly teaming up on some stuff and some other remote viewers, which would be interesting. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great idea. That's a great idea.
Hey, do you guys want to know what's been on my mind lately when it comes to like hidden stuff and unraveling?
Yes.
Okay. This has to be made into a film for me now because I'm so obsessed with it. Like, I'm a content creator. So if I sit down and watch a 5-hour movie, it's got to be a good 5-hour movie. So I watched this 5-hour movie, and this guy is I'm going to do a podcast today, live streaming a few movies because I've been mind blown. But here's what it is. And you might know this already. If you start looking at the ancient structures in our world, a lot of them, when you dig up the dirt around them, have a lot of the same building underneath. So the mud, there was a big situation with mud that completely swept a lot of these areas. And there's so many pictures from the 1800s where you see these cities, massive cities with supposedly 200 plus thousand people living in, but nobody in the streets.
Yeah.
Nothing at all.
Is it Etowon? Ereawon, I think.
Oh, I don't know.
Watching.
Oh, it might be. It's maybe. I don't know the name. I'll have to double check. But it ties now. Here's where it gets very like next level. Okay, in that day, electromagnetism was being discovered, and not necessarily discovered as if it was already there. It was already there. These mega structures were created not from the people of that time or even close to it.
Right.
And when you start to see, like, for example, the Arc de Triomphe in France, that is a power grid. What that is a magnetic, what's the name? It's a magnetic generator. If you look at it, it's an arc, and within it, it's very similar to a magnet. And if you look at the aerial view of the city, it is perfect. It is symmetrical, and that is the center. And then all these cathedrals and all these religious buildings, they all have magnificent domes on top with these art, like a cross or anything to capture energy. So what they're saying in this film is it's been erased from our memory, basically, that all the buildings that are still here on our planet, mostly ancient Europe buildings, were all used to connect energy together.
Right. It's amazing. I'm actually watching it, and it's off the hook. He even says it on the castles and the waterways and everything else.
Same thing. I love it.
It's amazing. I've been watching it lately myself. You know what he's saying, though, which is really cool, is we're talking about the so-called Great Reset now.
Yeah.
He's saying that 1900s, that was the first Great Reset.
Yes.
Right there. I think at the beginning of 1900. And he shows so much that shows that it could absolutely be true. And it's incredible. You're right. It's just one of the most incredible things I've watched. And you have to make a movie of that.
Incubator museums were a thing back then, where they were actually trying to find homes for children. That was like an advertisement all over the place. We're looking for homes for children. And it's just bizarre. They actually relocated a bunch of kids to these places where no one lived anymore. That's why you see sometimes kids working on adult machinery, because the adults weren't there.
You know what, Nick, I know exactly the videos you've been watching.
Yeah.
YouTube was taken down, wasn't it?
Yeah. And Lewis is right. It is called EWAR Anon, Era Non.
Yes, that's right. And it was he had an English accent, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember because he showed also, on the dome at the top, he was showing that they were so big and so detailed that who built it? Back then they had horses and carts.
And they all had gold too, which is a conductor.
Yeah. And not only that, but also the patterns had to be perfectly symmetrical. So the frequency energy could vibrate perfectly.
Yes.
You remember that?
And exactly. And this is when I was listening to this, it made sense because I remember Jessica, my friend, she's like, hey, why do you think Anthony Fomenko is Anatoly Fomenko? I talked about this last time. He was the Russian mathematician. Everyone was looking up to him. He was such a genius. But then he comes out near the end of his career and says, they messed with the chronological order of time. They made us believe that we were in a certain year, but actually they added 800 years. Why would they add 800 years? Well, now I think I know why. This whole entire thing. They wanted to seem like the people who build all these structures were further away when it was actually very close.
Interesting.
Possibly. I'm still working on that. I know.
So you reckon most of the old buildings are thousands of years old?
I think they're closer. They're closer to us. They're closer in our history than we expected.
Right.
Yeah.
So not 1,000, but maybe just a few hundred.
Yeah, and we were living in a world that was utilizing energy like that quite recently.
Yeah. Because they all have these antennas. You know how you got a big building and then you got one of these antennas? Not antennas, but it could be a cross of a church and then it was used for generating free energy.
Yeah. Yes. And wow, mind blowing how they could just wipe that from,
Humanity.
I guess, conscious memory.
Okay, let's go down that rabbit hole really quick because I just had a hit. Let's say they were generating free energy, which based on the patterns and the magnetism and the water, they showed how they used the water to do this, right?
Yeah.
Let's say that's plausible. And then let's say it did happen, but they still didn't have these righteous computers and so on and so forth, which would tell me if you come to present time where we don't have free energy, but we have these computers and chips, maybe those were alien technologies that were implanted in here.
Yeah. But who built them? This is the other thing.
Exactly, because they brought up in that film how certain tools were just being invented, but with those tools, you could not build such an amazing structure. When you look at those structures, you're like, how do they meld that? How did they do this? And then you really start to wonder who did it then. Were they big? Were they tall? Were they massive? Did they have the ability to levitate with electromagnetism? I think they did. Supposedly there's a guy in Florida who says he found the way to maglev heavy objects. And so he created his own pyramid jungle, so to speak, in Florida. And no one would ever watch him do it. He would move these things at night. But when you would see it, you would go, well, I don't know how this old man is doing this. So I don't know. I just don't know.
Is he still alive?
I'll have to look at it. Yeah.
All inventors end up dead.
I know.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's a crazy world, right?
It is. I mean, what happened to all the humans? Because you're right, they did take pictures and, of busy streets, very, very busy streets, daytime, and not one person. That's impossible. And there were hundreds of pictures. It wasn't just one or two by luck.
Right.
It was so many pictures, daytime, the busiest roads ever, and not one person. That doesn't, what happened? Where did everyone go?
Where did they go? This is such a great question. Such a great question. I wonder how we could find out. I've just got to keep on digging. The whole mud thing is also
The mud flood.
Yeah. All these buildings were covered, which means people were covered.
But did they find what we did? But they've dug up cities. So on Instagram, very interestingly, there are pages where you can look at archaeology, UFOs, etc., and they've dug up, mud, and there's underground cities, and it's like mountains of digging, you know.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
full cities with buildings that were completely functional underneath the ground, but they're not finding bones.
No.
So now here's where it's kind of a repeat in history now that we're experiencing what we're experiencing. We got the big old jabs going around, and we all know, most of us who watch this know what's going to happen. And it is a massive culling, so to speak. If you look now back then, is that what they were doing back then? You know, like back then isn't even that far. And did they wipe a ton of people out for a particular reason? It just blows me away.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. But the 800 years is very interesting.
Yeah. Right. No,
Yeah.
there's so much there. It's so foggy, and that's what keeps me up. I like to try and figure it out.
So does that mean that Jesus might have just been here 1200 years ago?
Yeah.
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 You don't know. I mean, a lot of people debate this with me, but I kind of feel like Jesus is within all of us.
Mhm.
You know, I think we're all Christed humans, and what's really going on in this world is, and
Ooh, right when it was
Yeah, he's
deep.
gone again.
It's
Hope
deep.
so.
But, yeah.
Wait till you watch it hit. Wait till he watches it back.
23 now. No. Yeah, but I feel him.
There he is.
can you hear me at all? Now you
Oh, we can hear you
now you're back.
perfectly.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was fun. I wish, did my face go like this?
It wasn't that bad.
So the you and I and most of the people, or who knows, may not believe in Satan or Lucifer. But what we really need to realize, and this is the most important, if everybody could grasp this, it would be so easy to understand. The globalists, the cabal, they absolutely 100% believe that there is a Satan and that they get their energy through Luciferian action. This is their belief system. I'm not saying you believe it or I have to believe it, but that's their belief system. So as soon as you can, forget all the other red pill information, just dig into that and find out that that's true. So if that's the cornerstone, if that's the foundation of their truth, that they believe that, then all the stuff that you can hear could be possible. And then that will really open your mind up to what's going on, because they are human above and we are human below, which means we are cattle to them. We have to understand that we are cattle to them. And sometimes we are feed for them. And if we do not understand that, it's hard to grasp that. How could people do this? Or why would they be so evil? Or none of this makes any sense. I don't believe you. Well, okay, do your study, find out that I'm telling the truth, that these globalists it's a satanic agenda and they're all Luciferian observers and that's their God. If you figure that out and find out that's 100% true, I'm not BSing you, then your mind suddenly opens up to, wow, I believe that they could do anything to us. And then when you're aware on that level, then you could fight back and then start cleansing your pineal gland and get your system cleansed and activate your right brain and use your discernment, because that's what they're afraid of the most. That's why they suppress us through deuterium. That's why they suppress us through 5G, fluoride, food, all the marketing message we have, the disruption between the races. None of it has to do with anything except it's suppressing our thought process and our intuition.
To piggyback on that, this is a realm of intention. And once you really realize that, it changes the game. There's a movie I made called Escaping the Simulation, which philosophizes around this idea that we're living in a simulation. It's a great film. Once you watch it, you will have more confidence that your thoughts are real things. And now I'm seeing in the Patriot movement and in this true awakening, this real awekening, we're using the same tactics they use. They do mass rituals. They've done it now at Super Bowls and at the Olympics. What massive power of intention collectively. Those people who bought tickets are actually not knowing it, but they are approving of it. That's what they need. They need people to willfully accept.
Yeah.
Now we are starting to do the opposite. I'm starting to see a bunch of patriots doing meditations at the same time with all their subscribers and followers.
Right,
Also
right.
prayers. So like we are starting to battle in this same way. Some people might think, oh my gosh, battling with intention and thought. This is a realm where I believe you create your reality, and we have to do it together.
Well, this is where World War IV is taking place. And yes, I intentionally said World War IV because I think World War III was during the Reagan and Russia regimes going at it and so on and so forth. You don't have to shoot a gun to be in a war. We are could be one of the most critical wars of all times right now. And I 100% agree with you, Nick. If we figure out that through our collective consciousness and our intention, right, that we can manifest virtually anything, it's not Mr. T, it's not the white hats, it's nobody else is holding us back except what? You watching right now. If you're not using positive intention to manifest this, you're the problem.
We've been suppressed in our abilities in society. And one of our abilities that we have is to manifest through, our thoughts, and our thoughts create our reality. But for so long, and I mentioned this with Michael Joko yesterday, our, manifestation abilities have been hijacked without us realizing, because we were unaware of this, and were used by the elites through mainstream media and horror movies and everything else we see in life to manifest what they want to manifest. So it's time that we use love, because love is medication to the pineal gland, and positive thoughts. And we need more of that. That's what I think.
100%. To piggyback on that one too, in 5 years, there's going to be a completely new face on Hollywood. You'll see a lot more films being made that are exposing truths in the same entertainment fashion that we've all consumed. Kind of like King Kong versus Godzilla recently. They dropped a lot of cool flat earth stuff in there, hollow earth, firmament. That's what we're doing. That's what Lewis and I are doing. Eventually you'll start seeing, maybe we won't be doing documentaries. We'll be doing full-on feature films. Right. And that's my intention, to be a big force in that. I don't want to call it New Hollywood, because Hollywood's such a negative term to me now.
We can call it Lionwood.
Yeah.
Lion TV.
I'm calling it Red Pill Cinema is the name of the overarching umbrella that would be everywhere. It's Red Pill Cinema. And yeah, because people, this is it. Everything has, Pandora's box is open, and we need to educate everybody and at least help people not feel so alone. A lot of people feel alone holding this kind of info because they can't talk to many people.
Absolutely. Guys, we are running out of time. And I just want to say it's been fantastic having you both on. Is there anything that you'd both like to say before we leave, to the viewers? Lewis, you go first.
Well, Nick, number one, I want to say you are amazing. You do a fantastic job at interviewing people. I think it's spectacular the way you let them talk and you pose them with just like the perfect question for us to filibuster, pretty much. But I really appreciate you. I'd love for people to check out my Telegram, YouTube, BitChute, whatever. I'm sure we'll have links below. I have 4 movies. The Watch the Water movie just this month, but the Watch the Water movie is blowing up, and I'm doing a sequel to that Nick and I are going to be working on together. That's going to be really fun because a lot of people are asking about it. Awesome. And obviously I'm partnering with Nick on his amazing films, which I'm sure he's going to talk about. Yeah. I love you too, Nick. Thanks for having us on. Your fan base is really awesome. They reach out to me. A lot of times there's people who reach out. They're like, hey, I saw you on Nick's show. And then we have a great conversation, whether that's on Instagram or wherever. So I love you guys out there too. And I hope that you guys are living from your hearts and doing what you can to keep this movement going in the right direction. And yeah, you can find my films. I made 25 films in the last year. Lewis has produced a handful of those, and now we're together doing this, crushing it, making more films and meeting more filmmakers, and the network is growing. So that's at goodlion.tv. And I will actually also, because we brought up
the mask guy, Ouchie. I'll put a link to my Telegram, and I'll post there. There's a great link that has it all. It has every single one. And then it also has like the top 9 lines of shocking discovery that we already knew.
Guys, I just want to say no, thank you so much. If it wasn't for you lovely patriots coming on to do a show with me, and like many other truthers that come on, and the viewers, I wouldn't have or be where I am at all. So I want to thank you very, very much. And I love you all very much, you know. And also the videos that you were both talking about, if you send them over to me, I will happily broadcast it onto Telegram so that people can have a look as well. And I'll make a small message announcement to let people know who is behind this, i.e. your names. And yeah, it's been amazing having you guys on, and thank you very, very much. And God bless, and we'll speak to each other again in 2 weeks.
God bless.
Later.
Later.
God bless you.